Hey everyone, it's Melissa Lee. Welcome to Girl Talk. As you can tell by my background, summer is over. Well, by the calendar, we've got a couple more weeks, but it's basically fall's on the way. And so we're gonna let summer go out. It's warm enough. We're dealing with a heat wave here in the Northeast, so I'm still wearing some of my summer clothes, showing off some shoulders. Um, but getting ready for the fall, which means I have to pick up a new fall wardrobe because I don't have one. As I've mentioned before, after a long hiatus, I'm back and I'm building up my wardrobe, and I got summer down. I even think I got spring down, but coming into fall and winter, no, I have some shopping to do. Just been a while since I've done one of these. Done. And I just wanted to reach out to everybody. Look, I really want to try to grow this channel. I talk mostly about what's happening with me, and I'll talk what's happening within the community. A couple of things that really strike me lately is not only with what's going on in the United States politically, and it's not just the US, it's around the world. I talked to some girlfriends over in Europe, and they say the anti-trans sentiment over there is really bad in places, and a lot of it's cultural. I'm not going to point fingers at specific groups. We know who they are. But here in the US, most of it's religious based, right wing politically based. And I always try to approach everything from a spiritual perspective because that's who I am. And we all need to find ways to get along and accept each other as human beings, whether you agree with what people like me are doing or not. I'm not hurting anybody. I am no threat to anyone. Uh, the rhetoric is so much hyperbole is running around out there, and they throw out words like pedos or rapists or groomers or all this other crap. And I'm sorry to say it's crap. We have a large community. We're part of the big multi-letter community. And yet everyone is an individual and everyone is on their own journey. There are a lot of people in the trans community. I'll admit I don't agree with some of their points of view, some of their choices on how they present themselves. But just because I don't agree doesn't mean that I condemn them or I'm pointing fingers at them or I'm going to tear them apart. I'm not mentioning anybody by name or even the types of things that people are involved with. As long as you're not harming anybody else, as long as we're consenting adults, people should live their life however they feel they should. The religious groups really need to go back and reread the Bible. Christians need to read more of the New Testament than the Old Testament, because there's not a single passage in there where Jesus condemns a gay person or a trans person, anybody. Don't quote Leviticus to me. That's 5,000 years old, and it all went out the window when Jesus came anyway. And I'm a former Christian, so I know it. I don't consider myself a Christian anymore, in that I don't believe I'm going to go to hell. That's for sure. And I embrace a lot of other types of spiritual philosophies. But, one of my favorite TV shows is still The Chosen. Oh my God, I love that show. It is so uplifting and heartwarming, and they don't beat religion over the head. If anything, I've learned more about Judaism watching The Chosen than I have about Christianity. Really intriguing, but it's very character based. It's a great show. You know, if you took out the religious aspect of it, which is very downplayed in my opinion, it's like any other good, well-written historical show you'd think you'd see on HBO. And I'm not here just to talk about that show, just the fact that in that show, it's always talking about forgiveness, you know, the forgiveness of sins, forgiveness of people who've wronged you, trying to reconcile with people who maybe you have a beef with or who've wronged you. That's something I need to follow because I have some people who've wronged me lately. I've tried to reconcile. They're not willing. I've done my best. There's not much you can really do. And some people have some very serious problems that they have to go through. So you have to focus on your own journey. How would you like other people to treat you? Treat them the same. And I'm not talking to sadomasochists here. I want to treat everybody with love and respect. You know, find common ground, even though we don't always agree with everything. I just want to live my life unhassled, unmolested by certain groups. And I want to just be me. Yeah, I've been having a slight crisis of faith in myself these last couple of months. One of the reasons why I haven't done so many of these videos. I've questioned my judgment. I felt like there's some things that I got wrong in my personal life. And now I'm still trying to figure out, where am I going to go from here? I don't know. I talk about transitioning a lot. I have not really done anything towards it yet. And I'll tell you why. I'm taking my time. I, as I've mentioned many times, am only recently back out to expressing my feminine side. Milyssa has only been back out 7 months as of now. After 20 years of living in denial and pretending like I was over it, convincing myself that I was over it, deluding myself. So now I really honestly feel I need to take the time and learn more about myself. Am I still leaning towards transitioning? Absolutely. I love who I am. And yet at the same time, I recognize the fact that I still have some healing to do from my personal tragedies this last year. I have to figure things out on how I'm going to move forward. And so if that's my advice to anybody, if you're unsure of where you are in your journey, don't be in such a hurry. I was placing a lot of unrealistic time frames on myself, on like I'm getting older, I need to transition soon because I don't want to transition when I'm too much older. When am I going to come out to family and friends? When am I going to do this? When am I going to do this? After a while, I got to stop. You just got to stop and take it a day at a time. It's so cliched and yet it's so true. Things will work out when they're meant to work out. You'll know when the time is right. You know, I've had doubts about transitioning. I sometimes think the world would be much easier just being a part-time crossdresser. And I hate just even using the word crossdresser because I feel this is me. I'm not cross-dressing, I'm expressing myself. But to go full-time, to come out to my work, come out to family, all of those pressures, and I'm not ready for it yet. because I'm still grieving my loss. I'm still getting to know me all over again. So I'm not going to push it. I still consider myself trans in that I feel I'm a woman, a trans woman. I do believe there's the distinction. I know what I was born as. You know, people want to throw that argument out at me. I'll concede that. I'll never be a quote unquote genetic woman. That's fine. I really don't care because I'm sick of labels. I'm sick of labels. I don't care what you want to point at me and call me. Okay. I'm Milyssa. That's it. You know, you don't like it. There's 7 billion other people out there you can interact with. You know, just leave me alone and let me live my life. I'm not hurting you in any way by existing. And nobody is ever going to have to fear me. And so many other of the girls in our community, so many of my friends, people I've connected with that have become very, very dear friends of mine. And they've been there for me. They've been there for me through my trials, my questioning, my doubts. I love them to death. And we're all scattered across the country, sometimes across the world, and we're unable to get together in person. I'm trying to make more connections here locally. I'm going out even this weekend to my first support group meeting. There's a group here in New Jersey, Pathways, run by my friend Vicki LaFontaine, and I'm going to my first meeting. And I'm hoping that there's going to be a number of other girls there that I can meet in person and share stories and get to know and maybe make some nice local friends, because I need to get out of this house. I work from home, so I'm stuck in here all week. And when come the weekend, I want to take Milyssa out with friends. So there's so much that I want to do. And I just got to take it a step at a time. And that's my advice for most people out there. Don't be in a hurry. I know some people really get hit with the gender dysphoria. Still take the time to think things through. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. In other words, there are consequences to every decision you make. And you have to be able to think ahead and do your best to plan ahead. I know what awaits me when I decide to take this further, and I have to be prepared for it. And I'm giving myself the time for that. And you should too. If anybody ever has any questions for me, not only about me, but about yourself, you have questions about your own journeys. I get questions from people all the time. I'm lucky in one way. I have an advantage. Yeah, I went through bad tragedy. I lost my spouse. And now I'm moving forward in life alone. I have an advantage. I don't have children. I live alone. I'm able to do things more freely than a lot of other girls are, who are married, have kids, have certain responsibilities or jobs that they can't be themselves fully. It's hard. It's really hard. And so before somebody does something rash, think about it. Think about what's in your best interest, what would make you happiest, but also understand what some of the consequences could be. Are you ready to deal with that? So, patience. I did a reading for myself this week, and that was the one big thing that came through for me was have patience. Things will work out the way they're supposed to work out. May not be the exact way I plan or want them to be, but what's the old saying? Man or woman plans, God laughs. Because there's bigger things at play going on in the background in your life. So Take it a day at a time, see what happens, but try to keep positive. Try to love yourself no matter what, how you're feeling. Love yourself. Don't give in to despair and depression. I'm guilty of it. But when you're positive, good things tend to happen faster. When you're negative, you're attracting negativity to you, and sometimes it makes your life harder. Whatever you put out is what you get back. So stay positive. I can't stress enough love. Love for yourself, love for your fellow human being. And it's difficult. This journey on this planet is so difficult, especially when you're somebody in my position. But there's so many other people who have things way worse than me, way worse than me. And I have my compassion for them, and I want to help people. So anyway, that's enough of my rambling this week. Please hit the like button below. If you haven't subscribed already, hit subscribe. Tell your friends. Want to grow this channel. I still have some plans for it. I know I've mentioned in the past, I want to try to get some other girls on here, do some interviews, or maybe we'll do a Zoom talk. I did a Zoom conversation last night with a couple of my best friends, and sometimes some of the things that come out of that are just so informative, and I think could help other people. So these are things I'm trying to work towards. We'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. You all have a wonderful weekend, and we will talk with you again soon. Take care.